Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome to the next episode, which I think I'm going to call Propulsion, because that's what I'm going to be working on most of the time. Hey, don't get on my case. I know at the end of the last episode, you had to watch for the special segment after the outro, where I said I was going to get a new engine, and I did, and you're expecting to see me working on that right now, but that's not happening just yet. First thing I'm working on is the loud structure for the starter mower. There's a lot of sharp edges. I want to grind them down. Even though it's an easy pull, I still want to use the starter with the new engine. So right now I'm grinding down the edges to try and... Apparently what I'm trying to do is make as much noise as possible. I'm grinding down the edges so that it can be somewhat safe and it doesn't hurt people. So that's what I'm doing now. I don't think it's really anything anybody wants to watch, so I'm going to just do it. So I have just finished what is hopefully, and I pray to God, the last coat of blue paint. If for no other reason than I suck at painting, and you'd be hard-pressed to look at the boat right now and know that it's a red deck. There's so much blue all over it. But I will be touching up all the red and putting another coat on, and then, knock on wood, the painting should be all done. There's my new motor, and tomorrow I will be taking it off the power washing apparatus and working on getting it set up. I'm so excited, and it's already been demonstrated that it starts right up. I'll show you that tomorrow. If you remember a couple episodes back, I went fishing and I showed you a massive fish I caught. little guy. This one here. Well, not to be outdone, I went fishing last week and I caught this. I didn't think it was possible to get one smaller than what I had before, but... And let me zoom in on the hook. It's as big as his head. I don't know how he got it in his mouth. Good morning, everyone. How you doing? Why did France give us the Statue of Liberty? I mean, everyone knows that France gave it to us, but the question is why? That's the trivia for today. So I'm starting off today by working on the lid latches. Actually, starting off today, of course, you know with what. But some of them I'm going to sand the deck now with some 80 grit sandpaper, and that should do two things. One, it should give me a good surface to adhere the final coat of deck paint to. All I have left to do now is suck and blow. Blow off the deck and then vacuum out everything, and then I'll be ready to paint. So the final coat of red for the deck is done. I hope it's a final coat. I'm still not a very good painter, but I was very careful. Wow, look at that hair. I tried to be very careful with the edging and the blue paint. So there's some minor blue touch-ups I got to do, but nothing major. And it should be all done for being painted. Now on to the engine. So when I picked this up, he started it with one pull. I want to make sure that it does that. Yep. Starts up easy. Now to just take it apart. There we go. There we go. Good morning, everyone. How you doing? As you can see, I have stripped down a lot of stuff off this engine because I'm going to be cracking it open and removing the governor, doing a governor delete. So first thing I got to do that is remove the oil, which, you know, we've done before with the other engine, but I'll just do it here and dump it into this bucket. Next thing I'm going to do is clean up my mess that I made down here. That's not bad. Very little, actually. Well, I'm going to have to go online and find a trick to open this up. So, it really helps if you take out all the bolts. I found two that were hidden in here that I did not know were hidden in here. So now I've got it open. And this is just normal part over here. This is all the crankshaft and wow, it's got a belt drive to operate the valves. Interesting. Interesting. Camshaft gear. There is no camshaft, excuse me, it's a belt drive. But here, this is the governor. God, I've got this all oily now. So there's the gear. Like I said, as it spins, these pop out and that little pin comes up. So the faster it spins, the more that centrifugal force forces that pin up, which presses on this lever which therefore mitigates the amount of throttle you can have. What I'm going to have to do is get some epoxy JB Weld steel, I think, fill that hole in so that nothing gets out it, nothing leaks out it. I will eventually clean all this up, get some oil, gasket maker, and put this sucker all back together. But that's essentially a governor delete. So I've cleaned out the bottom here. Looks really nice. Now I have to put this gear back in. As you see these little tabs here, this is an oil link system. This spins fast, throws the oil up into all the internals. So you can't totally just delete this gear. But I've deleted that rod that was there, so it won't be affecting or having a governor relationship type of effect. It'll just be working as an oil system. So that'll spin, flick the oil up on the engine. But as long as you're good with maintenance, you should be okay to, as long as you're good on maintenance, it should be okay to delete the governor. Plus, I'm not going to be running this wide open for hours on end. You know, I'm not going to be mowing the lawn. I'm going to get in the boat, run for a little bit to where I'm going, and shut the motor off, and probably run with a trolling motor at that point. For now, it's a chance I'm willing to take by removing the governor. Good morning, friends. How y'all doing today? So today, I'm going to start off by trying to figure out, I'm going to mount some pieces on here and figure out orientation, height, stuff like that. One of the things I did yesterday that I didn't record or show you guys was I did all the final touch-ups for the blue paint. Okay, so this last piece I finally, like I said, I got a nut and a bolt for that, and these two are secure. Now I'm going to cut pieces to fit on the back of this. What a way to wake up in the morning with the sound of an angle grinder. The engine mount is all done and rock solid. Should be set to take the motor as soon as I have it all working. So I got this JB Weld steel stick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this hole. There's the hole. I'm going to plug that hole. I'm going to plug the two governor holes in the cases. You can see that the governor hole on this piece has been fully plugged. The hole on the bottom of the other engine, can't even tell where they did such a good job. See it in there. And then it's hard to see on this one, but it's hard to see on this one, but it's plugged also. Let them harden, and tomorrow I'll put them back together and see if I can get them running. Good morning, my friends. How are you today? It's a beautiful day here in Boston. I would take 99% of the days in the year like this. Anyways, today, well, let's start with a trivia question. What is cinnamon? Where does it come from? Some of you, I'm sure, know. Some of you are probably going, huh? Anyways, today, I'm going to be putting the engines back together. And I say engines, plural. Now, you may be wondering, why is he doing both engines? Well, this is my practice engine. If I screw this one up, I'm not going to be too upset. But I want to make sure I can figure out how it all works. I know they're not the same engines, but it's nice to do something with practice that you haven't necessarily ever done before. So I'll give these one more quick clean out. This is a little bit of residual dirt, I'm guessing, from working on them yesterday with the steel stick. Plus, I just want to have as much dirt out of here as I can. It seems on there quite well. Let's see this. It's quite nicely plugged up. Okay. So, with this one, the first thing I gotta do is put the rods back in. Okay, I took the rocker arms off because I was having trouble getting things lined up. So, I am going to put on in the camshaft and then put the rocker arms back on. I don't know if you can see. Let me see. So when you put the camshaft back in, you have to time it up. That little tab right there is the timing mark on this gear. And this one's going to be tough to see. I don't think you can see it, but there's a little mark on the gear here. And that's where the timing is. And I line that up with that tab. When I showed you this black gear, I failed to mention that the mark is just a little triangle on one of the teeth. Go. Probably should have gloves, but since I don't have any. Okay, where's my bottom piece? Oh, there it is. One of the hard things is going to be trying to align the camshaft or the oiler with the spots in the sump. I don't like that there's nothing that locks that in. 3 long and 5 short. Oh no, 3 short and 5 long, 6 long. Sorry, forgot to show you the tightening of the bolts initial, but now I break out this lovely torque wrench, which I've never used before. Well, unfortunately, this doesn't go low enough, so I'm just going to have to do another digger. It's only 8 Newton meter, or 8 foot-pounds, so it's not like it's too hard. Okay, put this aside for a second. Get my handy dandy platform up here. Stick this in it. Go ahead and wipe off any of this excess silicone gasket material. I don't want that necessarily all splayed all over the place here. Okay, time to work on the rockers. And tighten these down for right now, just to make sure. That moves, and that one's moving. Okay. Time to make my feeler gauge. So the gap on these are to be 0.04, which just happens to be the thickness of a modern day aluminum can. Now, here's where I had trouble before. Once things spun fine without compression, without the spark plug in. Once I put the spark plug in, let's see how the compression goes. Now, when I tried to spin it before, see right there, there's a compression issue. Doesn't seem as bad as before. Well, let's put some oil in it and see if I can start this sucker up. So the old engine was almost, but not quite, a complete failure to try and get it started. It was still having compression issues. I have no idea why. I adjusted the valves. I ripped out the internals. I can't think of it. When I tried to start it, I decided to use my drill and a nut. The carburetor popped off, broke, and I think I lost the butterfly control valve in there. So I'm just getting rid of that engine. It's useless and worthless. And yeah, not much I can do with it, I don't think. But there was one piece of good news. The RTV held up, not a single drop of oil. The holes that were plugged were fine. So what I'm going to do now is put together the new engine, make sure it runs okay. My phone is it keeps shutting off recording, and I don't know why. So you saw me start to put the bass on, but you never saw any of the action. But it's on. I've got oil in it. It doesn't appear to be leaking anywhere. Now look at the hole there. I haven't started it up yet because I got a couple of modifications I want to make to the shut off and to the gas feed, but for the most part it's going quite well. I do have to put the air filter back on at some point, but for right now I can just put this on, at least to fool around with it. Again, Honda's a smart company. Everything on here is 10mm. I don't have to worry about what size socket to grab for each individual bolt like I do on some things. Now I need to figure out the kill switch, which for a boat is different than a lawnmower or a power washer. So the way most small engines shut down or turn off is simple. This is the magneto, which tells the engine when to fire. As you can see, it's directly connected to the spark plug. And all you got to do is ground that circuit, and there's no spark. So the way that this was running before is it had a switch here that was just on and off, and if you turned it off, created a ground, stopped the spark. Boats run differently because they have this tether that you put on you. So if you fall off the boat, it pulls this, automatically closes the ground circuit, and magneto ground is grounded, and the engine stops. So I just simply attach the magneto wire to one end of this and attach the other end to a ground point, and we're all set. Now the orientation of this is the back is going to be towards the boat. I'm going to have to figure out something for this. She's alive! Okay, well, that's good news. Hey folks, how you doing this glorious morning here in Massachusetts? It is beautiful out. I could take days like this all year long. So, today's first action is to mount the engine right there. If everything goes well, this should be quick and easy, but as we know, oftentimes things don't go quick and easy. I find it interesting how at times I have plans to do 4, 5, 6 things. You know, you're like, oh yeah, I'll do that. It'll take me an hour. I'll do that. It'll take me 20 minutes. I'll do that. It'll take me half an hour. And by 4 hours later, you've only done one thing, the first thing, and it's still not completely done. Well, with this boat built, that's how things go a lot. So I have several things I would like to do today. The question is, will I get them all done? I'm guessing probably not, because I know the way things tend to go, but we will see. I have a Samsung Galaxy Note 20, I think. Can someone explain to me why it can't record more than half an hour of video? Every time I try to record a long video, like I was earlier today, thought I was recording for a better part of an hour, go to do my edits, and stuff I said, stuff I did is not there. Coming up here, you will see me talk about supports or spacers for the motor. That's because apparently I explained to no one in particular what had happened. I put on the coupler, and it made the engine plate sit higher off the frame that I had built, so I had to find spaces for the engine so that the coupler lined up and everything. And like I said, I got to editing just now, and all I saw was, oh, I found spaces that work for the back. I don't understand it. I'm ready to shoot this phone. But enjoy the rest of the video. Okay, so I found a couple pieces that will work for spaces for the back. Now I gotta work out something for the front. I think this should work. That's gonna get knocked forward. Can you guess what's in the cup? She's mounted. She's secure. Just working on the throttle cable right now, making sure it's the right length and getting it in the right position. Probably needs a little work, but it starts up. That's the biggest thing I was worried about. Propulsion achieved! Yes! As you saw, the engine did start while it was on the outboard motor. Uh, what I didn't show was that it was turning the prop. Um, it was shutting off because I think it started for fuel because there's no fuel pump. As you saw, I had to build the tank up really high to get it to even have any fuel. I think once I get a working fuel pump, those problems should be fixed. We'll have to wait and see until I get a fuel pump, which I need a little bit of money first before I do that. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Remember, please like, share, subscribe, and may all your adventures be fun and safe.